This is my blood. And for the past year, 10 Venus flytraps started a competition against each other to win this drop of blood. And while each and every catch changes their score on the leaderboard, only one of them will be crowned king of the Flytrap games. However, as you figure out which one has what it takes to win their prize, you might also notice how much I have changed as a creator. Each episode from this series is slightly better than the one before it. And I think it's kind of cool to see how much things have changed. Regardless, I hope you enjoy the full first season of the Flytrap games. This is Red, the second smallest competitor in today's event, and he has some of the best colors on a Flytrap that you will ever see. However, he still has something to prove. All the other Flytraps in the greenhouse are special. Each and every one of them has a name curated to them, and this name grants them the title of cultivar. Pitifully, Red is nothing but a typical. Nothing special, nothing unique, nothing worth noting. However, he has been selected as the first ever competitor in this new series, before any of the exclusive cultivars. If Red wins the drop of blood, he might prove to the world that typicals deserve to be respected just as much as any other Flytrap. Let's see if he can carry that burden in the world's first event of the Flytrap games. Measuring in at a total length of 4.5 centimeters, a trap length of 2.5 centimeters, and a tooth length of 5 millimeters, let's welcome Red to today's event. Seeing as he is just a typical, he has no unique abilities to take note of. The setup is simple. Each contestant for the day's event will be taken outside and given the opportunity to catch some lunch. And as you can see, the moment they have attracted a bug, a timer will run up until the very last second the plant catches it. Throughout this series, each plant will have a total of 3 attempts to speed run catching their lunch, and the average of the 3 runs will be added to the leaderboard. There will be many different plants and events in the future, but for now, we are focusing only on speed. Will Red be able to uphold the pride of all the other typicals, or will he fail and simply not catch a bug at all? There's only one way to find out. Red definitely has something to prove to us today, as that was one of the most powerful catches I have ever seen, and he makes no mistake in ensuring he creates the perfect seal around this fly. With a respectable 1-minute run for his first ever attempt, Red has set the bar for every other competitor to beat, thanks to this excellent attempt from none other than a typical Flytrap. Spider, the cultivar of your nightmares. Arguably the most dangerous flytrap in the greenhouse, he is hell-bent on getting the biggest catch of his life. A human. Who knows what might happen if he gets a taste of my blood, but he'd have to win for that to happen. You may think he got his name for loving the taste of spiders, but this isn't true. Just like a daddy longleg, he has always had long, spindly leaves. And that's what we all thought. Dainty little leaves. Little did anyone know that the curse of the long leaves also mean the biggest traps we have ever seen. He towers over all the other fly traps, stealing every meal that goes near them. A ruthless killer, cursed with etiolation, he is more than ready for all the events we have lined up in the coming months. Cunning, patient, and deadly, he is one of the favorites to win the series, and by far one of the most dangerous fly traps in the collection. Let's carefully move him into the arena. As spider attracts this hoverfly, it gives us a good opportunity to explain that plants will also get points based off of what they catch. You see, fly traps also catch things like spiders, beetles, and even wasps. So the bigger the catch, the more points they'll earn. And on top of this, double and triple catches will also form part of their points on the leaderboard, but I will explain more about this in the future. Right now, Spider, who measures in at a whopping total length of 14 centimeters, is getting ready for his first catch. I expected nothing other than an exceptional catch from this apex predator, and with a time of just 18 seconds, he flies to first place on our leaderboard. As you can see in the replay, the flies have pretty good reaction times, but they're just no match for the speed of a Venus flytrap. Crosstooth. He's today's smallest competitor. A fly can barely fit into his trap, and guess what? He doesn't want to work on getting bigger because he has had everything he has ever wanted given to him. Fertilizers, food, soils, water, pots, you name it. To top it all off, he boasts about how lavish his life is by constantly multiplying. And guess what? This shameless cultivar thinks he can run with the big boys. The thing is, he has twisted stems, squared off traps, crossed teeth, and if you ask me, he's a spoiled brat. I don't know how it's possible for a plant to even attempt to catch with features like that, let alone win. However, if he does get the drop of blood, his already inflated ego will become even bigger. You see, not all cultivars are created equally. If a flytrap is unique enough, even if it can't do its job of catching flies, it can get the title of cultivar, just like Crosstooth. But hey, he has cultivar privilege, so he is more than entitled to join this event. Measuring in at a dismal 5.5 centimeters, Crosstooth is actually starting off pretty strong by attracting the most flies I have ever seen for one fly trap. However, until he gets at least one interested enough in him, it doesn't count. Now, you may be wondering what this fabric on the left is, and it's simply there to prevent the plant from catching too many flies at once. As you can see, these flies would be all over this plant, causing all the traps to go off. And as you can imagine, this isn't ideal and can affect the health of the plant. On top of this, we will only be watching one trap per plant, so there is no need to have all the others going off too. However, Crosstooth has finally managed to attract a fly into that deformed mouth of his. Will the flies be able to escape through those big holes in his teeth, or would a fly be too big for him to catch? Because, let's face it, this is a really small plant. Anyway, let's see the damage he can cause. He actually caught one, I can't believe it, that was incredible. And it looks like he's going to be able to hold on to his catch too, but I really need to see the replay of this. Did that fly bait and switch him? Yeah, this fly on the left was really smart by staying at the top of the trap. He basically switched places with the fly on the right. This has got to be one of the wildest catches I have ever caught on tape. Have you ever wondered what Frankenstein would actually look like? A freak of nature, manufactured in a laboratory. A tormented, tested, modified lab rat. Well, I'm not sure about Frankenstein, but this is the Flytrap version. Brad's Giant. In the early days of developing giant flytraps, experimentation was crude and dangerous. Most plants were not able to make it through all the testing that goes on in a laboratory. The chemicals, lights, sanitation, and infections. But then there was a breakthrough. It wasn't perfect, but we ended up with Brad's Giant. And as proof of his brutal past, he still bears the scars on his traps. Yet, it is a wonder as to how this plant copes with these modifications, but we have some clues. You see, to keep his mutations at bay, he must feed, constantly, and that's why he has traps everywhere. On the ground and in the air. Otherwise, who knows what could happen to this plant if he isn't kept busy. Nonetheless, it is believed that if he wins the coveted drop of blood, the elixir of life, that he may find a new existence, free from the cycle of kill or be killed. Let's take this damaged soul outside and offer him the chance at a fresh start. Imagine stepping out of your warm house, your safe sanctuary, and breaking your routine just to have a chance at improving your life. Well, that's exactly what Brad's Giant is doing here today. As he attracts this fly, let me explain what this stick is for. Many people think I somehow used this stick to close the plant. Firstly, that isn't possible, as the flies need to touch the trigger hairs that you can see inside the trap to make the plant close. And secondly, I don't have the patience to stand around for hours at a time waiting for a fly. All the videos I take are time lapses, and as you can imagine, if the traps were swaying in the wind, we wouldn't be able to see anything properly. So I stick this stick onto a plastic pot and press it up against the plant so that the trap can stay nice and still while we record. Anyway, let's see if Brad's Giant can capture this fly. Will he fall short and return to the greenhouse with nothing to show for his efforts? Or will he be able to achieve the best time of the day? Either way, we're going to find out soon. Brad's Giant used such a calm and collected technique here as he caught this fly, and you can really see those scars sticking out on the side of his traps. However, let's see the slow-mo replay of this hunt. Damn, this fly reacted so quick, it almost looks like he teleported there. But those perfectly manufactured teeth of Brad's Giant were way too strong for this fly to get past. Nonetheless, it is now time to see how all of today's competitors stack up on the leaderboard. And we are right back into the action today with the current third place Flytrap, Brad's Giant, attempting a catch on a wasp. As you know, wasps are the one insect that can escape a flytrap, either by chewing their way out or simply using their sheer strength to squeeze through the trap before it has fully closed. And this is why wasps are a much more impressive catch compared to flies. Brad's Giant is really showing just how experienced he is at catching bugs, as he doesn't even give the wasp a chance to fight back. With the time of 1 minute and 4 seconds for today's catch, Brad's Giant remains in third position even after averaging his times. However, catching a wasp does give him bonus points, which will take effect towards the end of this tournament. If you're wondering what exactly this leaderboard and these events are for, we are on a mission to find the ultimate Venus flytrap. And we are doing this by seeing which plants can catch their food the quickest. However, in the last episode, one flytrap stood out. This flytrap, Spider, set a record time of only 18 seconds to put himself into first position. Therefore, it is now time for him to prove that his first catch wasn't just luck, and that he actually is one of the deadliest competitors around. Spider is starting off very strong today by attracting a blue fly, which is a bit more difficult to catch compared to the green flies. However, the most interesting part of this catch isn't the plant or the flies, but rather the wasps. Brad's Giant proved to us today that there are a few wasps here, and this is because of all the flies around our plants. You see, these wasps hunt and eat flies, and you'll even see a wasp try to catch a fly in a couple seconds. Regardless, it is now time to see if Spider can hold on to the top spots in the leaderboards. Once again, Spider proves how deadly he is with a 43-second catch, and he makes no mistakes in creating his seal. However, I'm more interested to see how close that wasp got to catching that fly. The first thing I noticed is how this blue fly jumped and hid away from the wasp flying past. It's pretty interesting how this fly knows that they are dangerous. Now let's see how close this wasp gets. I've slowed this down so we can have a better look. These wasps target slow or weak flies, but I think this fly was a bit distracted by the plant instead of weak. If the fly was weak, he wouldn't have been able to dodge the wasp by sliding under the stick and flying off before the wasp could get him. And by a stroke of luck, I have managed to film a wasp catching a fly for a future episode, so make sure to subscribe for that one. With an outstanding catch of only 43 seconds, Spider has solidified his position in first place with a new average time of 31 seconds. With times as good as this, I honestly am a bit worried as to what might happen to this plant if he gets the drop of blood, as he genuinely is the most dangerous flytrap in the greenhouse. However, he will need to catch more than just green flies to beat some of the competitors arriving in the following months. Yet, I do think the wasp was the reason he didn't catch that blue fly. Nonetheless, it is now time to see if anyone can move up on this leaderboard. Last episode, we were surprised that the following flytrap could actually catch something. He is known for being a spoiled brat and never having to work for his meals. It is time to see if Crosstooth can continue to inflate his ego, or if it is finally his time to be humbled. This guy, Crosstooth, is the smallest competitor in the event thus far. And I'm pretty sure you've guessed it by now, but he got his name because of his crossed teeth. As you saw in the last episode, he actually caught something, which surprised all of us as we thought the flies would just crawl out of the big hole in his teeth. But in the end, it turned out that those teeth created one of the craziest catches I have ever caught on camera. And I'm seriously wondering how this little guy does this. Look at him. After a few minutes outside, he has already attracted more flies than any other trap could. He did the exact same thing in the last episode, and here he is, doing it again. And if he keeps this up, he will break another record today. Ooh, and he he just shattered Spider's previous record by 14 seconds. I cannot believe how quickly he caught this fly, with such a quick seal too. Maybe Crosstooth has a big ego for a reason. If he keeps performing like this, he will definitely win that drop of blood and will never stop bragging about it. Well, that has genuinely caught me off guard. With a new record of 4 seconds, Crosstooth has moved from 4th position all the way up to 2nd. And he is extremely close to dethroning the current number 1, Spider, with a new average time of 42 seconds. Catching a green fly isn't as impressive as the wasp that Brad's Giant caught. However, we will see if the next competitor has anything interesting to show us. He is the typical underdog, literally called a typical flytrap because he is not a cultivar. All the other plants we have seen this far have a special or unique trait that has been registered with the society, granting them the title of cultivar. However, Red is just a typical flytrap that does not have anything noteworthy to register. Yet, he wants to prove to the world otherwise, and to be fair, he does have one of the most powerful catches I have ever seen. With Red taking his turn at catching some lunch, we can learn a bit more about how Venus flytraps actually catch their food. All Venus flytraps are similar to those snap bands we had as kids. Do you remember the countless hours we would spend smacking them on our wrists and then opening them only to wonder how they worked? Well, spoiler alert, the insides of them are made of measuring tapes. Yet, how is this similar to a flytrap? Well, that same tension those bands have in their metal piece is the same kind of tension that flytraps have in their leaves. All that needs to happen is for the outer walls to bend inwards, and all that snapping tension will slam the leaf closed. This is where these trigger hairs come in. When an insect touches them twice within 20 seconds, a signal is sent through the cells in the leaf. This signal tells the cells to move fluid from one cell to another, which essentially causes the outer walls to grow in size, which leads to the trap snapping closed. And after an insect is caught, it keeps running around, touching those trigger hairs, and this causes the plant to seal up and secrete enzymes to digest their meal. Let's see the snapping in action. Now that you understand why I say he is the most powerful in the competition this far, let's take a look at how the walls of the trap bend inwards to create that snapping action. Watch the corners of the trap. You should notice how they fold forward, allowing the rest of the trap to snap closed, just like those bands I've been telling you about. And this trap was so fast that the fly was caught before it even knew it. In today's episode, we will find out if Red is able to pull off a never-before-seen triple catch. We'll also find out if Crosstooth can move into first position, and if our new competitor is even worth worrying about. Let's find out in the third event of the Flytrap Games. Today's first competitor is our damaged soul, Brad's Giant. He is seeking a life without pain and hopes the prize of this competition can rescue him from his mutations. Furthermore, he has managed to catch a wasp in the last episode, which is huge for him as the bonus points might push him up from third spot into second. And if the others don't keep up their good scores, he could definitely edge his way into first spot. However, he will need to have an exceptional time of around 20 seconds in today's event if he wishes to get close to Crosstooth's second position in the leaderboard. We have seen that times this quick is possible, yet not by him. Let's see if he can cure his mutations, or is his time getting close? There is only one way to find out. Each day that goes past is another day of the ongoing war between the plants and the flies. If you didn't know, the flies have somehow been targeting our plants and have started learning how to escape from them. Not only does a missed catch drain the plant of energy, it can also kill the plant if it happens too often. To top it all off, the flies have been targeting our baby fly traps, which means dead plants. As it stands, we have too many flies and not enough plants to hold them back. So not only is this a competition for the plants to earn a prize of a lifetime, it is also a chance for them to prove themselves against the fly army so that we may prevent them from killing off the future generations in the greenhouse. Each and every catch is a win for us. He's done a great job of preventing this fly from getting any of the other plants, yet it is barely anything compared to the size of their army. Regardless, I don't think he's done enough to move him into second position. Let's take a look at where he now stands. Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that Brad's Giants has brought his time down. The bad news is that he took it down to 54 seconds. Not enough to get him into that second spot, but he does have a wasp catch which will be taken into account later on in the series. He has to just hope that neither crosstooth nor spider have any good catches that will keep them in their spots. And let's not forget about Red with his potential triple catch later in this video. However, all of this means nothing if the flies get a chance to kill the baby fly traps in the greenhouse. Aside from keeping them safe from the weather, they are also safe in here from the fly assassins as they can't get in. The plants also have a second line of defense. They have formed a pact with the spiders in hopes that they can keep the fly population down while the babies are growing up in the greenhouse. The plants won't eat the spiders as long as they stay in their spots and catch any intruders. I know this seems a bit silly seeing as these plants should eat the flies, but if the flies are bigger than the baby plants and the flies know how to avoid getting caught, we have a serious problem that needs to be overcome. This is why we are introducing our newest competitor in the event. Hailing from the deepest jungles, Tiger Teeth has spent the past 4 months growing from a teenage plant to the young adult cultivar he is now. He joined the collection at the start of spring with a whole bunch of other babies, and since then has been undergoing the difficult task of practicing how to catch meals and inevitably bulk up for the competition. This also means he is now old enough to be drafted, given the opportunity to join the other flytraps in the competition. By winning, he hopes to prove that even an inexperienced and new plant can join the flytrap army, and that hard work and dedication will always lead you to your dreams and not luck or genetics. Let's find out if he's in over his head or if he has worked enough to earn a spot in the leaderboards. Okay, so we're right into the action. Let's see how our inexperienced flytrap does with a wasp. If he gets this, he could fly into first place and get bonus points to keep him there. Oh, and he shows his inexperience by missing that massive catch. During his training in the jungles, this tiger has had practice with catching wasps, but I think his nerves got the better of him. Regardless, he wants to make up for it with a double catch. Yet you can see just how nervous he is, as he is hesitating to close his trap. There is a good reason for this. We all know that he's inexperienced and he has to perform, but if he misses this catch, it means that he'll end up becoming the very thing he wants to prevent, another dead flytrap. And it won't prove his argument that he should join the flytrap army. Ooh, and he does it, the first ever double catch in the tournament and on his debut. This is how you prove that you should be part of the future army, and I guess he is true to his name. He waited to pounce at the perfect moment, just like a tiger would. Now that our new Flytrap has been unveiled, we can see where they rank on the leaderboard. With a time of 1 minute and 44 seconds, Tiger Teeth manages to squeeze past Red on the leaderboard. Bear in mind that insane double catch means that he will get extra points later on in the series, which means he could easily move up the leaderboard, especially if the others don't perform. Yet, talking about performing, our next competitor has shocked the leaderboards by moving into second spot after his new record catch of 4 seconds in the last episode on a green fly. Crosstooth was always thought to be a big-mouthed brat who couldn't stop talking about how great he is, but I think after this competition, he might truly be able to brag without anybody doubting him, especially if he wins the grand prize and joins the ranks of the army as one of the quickest flytraps there is. Let's see what he can do today. Guys, bear in mind that this is our smallest competitor in the event, and he is absolutely full of himself, genuinely insufferable, and he has now attracted a blue fly, which gives him extra points on the leaderboard. I cannot believe this. 5 seconds! He nearly broke his own record. And to top it all off, this was a blue fly, which, as you know, aren't as common as the green flies and much bigger. This fly can barely fit in this trap, yet Crosstooth doesn't care. He's just glad he can move up in the leaderboard and brag about it. Let's see where he's put himself. This is absolutely massive. Crosstooth has pulled off the unthinkable. He originally started off in 4th spot, and after the last event, he got a new record. And today, nearly breaks it with a bonus point catch and smashes his current time, bringing him to 29 seconds. This means he is now the #1 flytrap in the competition and a contender for General of the Army. I can only wonder what Spider may think about this when he finds out, as he is currently away on a secret hunt. It is now time for what we have been waiting for. The underdog, Red, is going to have his chance to make the biggest comeback of the competition thus far. After a powerful yet pretty slow catch in the last episode, Red is sitting at the bottom of the leaderboards in 5th position. And on top of this is the last chance he has to pull off a miracle and put himself in the top spots. He needs to get a time of around 1 minute to move back up past the new competitor, Tiger Teeth, and hopefully pull off a catch that has double points or more. Remember, he is doing this to prove to the world that a boring, old, typical flytrap is worthy of just as much love and admiration that the cultivars get. And it would mean the world to him if he can join the army to protect all the other plants in the greenhouse. Yet, I don't think the cultivars like that idea very much. Regardless, let's give him the opportunity to prove his worth. You can't see it, but the pressure on Red's shoulders must be immense. He is representing all of the typical flytraps from across the world and needs to prove their worth, otherwise his time in the competition is over and he can give up on his dreams of protecting the greenhouse. He has already attracted 1 green fly, but he needs to get at least a double catch if he can even think about getting into 4th spot, and if not a green fly, then maybe a blue fly, or the even rarer black fly would boost his points in the leaderboard. And here we have it, 2 flies ready to go, but keep in mind he has to get this before the 1 minute mark to even get close. And here's a 3rd one. Come on Red, you've got this. Oh, this is the most disappointing catch I have ever seen. Usually Red makes no mistakes with his powerful catches, but I think the time limit put too much pressure on him. Regardless, it is now time to let you know what happens to a plant if it misses a catch. So, we have to update the leaderboards, yet one of our plants has missed a catch. Before I can explain what happens, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the war between the flies and the plants, and leave a like if you've watched this far. Now, let me tell you the consequences of missing a catch. Not only does the plant look like an evolutionary fool, they also get a 3-minute time penalty. What this means for Red is that his new average time is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. This is a devastating loss for him and all the typicals around the world, as this was the last opportunity he ever had to move up in the leaderboards. And who knows how this will affect his application to the Flytrap army. Regardless, we have a strong pool of competitors ahead of him. Tiger Teeth has pulled off an amazing double catch for his debut at a decent time of 1 minute and 44 seconds. However, this is nearly a minute away from Brad's Giant's third spot at 54 seconds. And just to highlight the quality of the top competitors, this time by Brad's Giant is nearly double that of Spider's at 31 seconds. Spider doesn't even know he has been pushed down the leaderboards by Crosstooth, and he will only find out in the next event, so it will be interesting to see how he reacts to this. All he needs to do is shave off 2 seconds to get past Crosstooth's excellent performances from the last 2 events. And the thing is, I have never seen a plant as small as Crosstooth catch prey that much bigger than him or that quick before. I cannot believe he just stole that Flytrap's catch. And he's eating it. That's another dead plant. We need to get revenge. In our quest to find the ultimate Venus flytrap, we are now on event 4. Remember, the flytrap that catches their meal the quickest will move up on the leaderboard, and the winner will get the prize of a lifetime, a drop of blood. We have Tiger Teeth on the field today, who had an amazing double catch in his debut last episode. Yet, he will not be the first new face we see in the competition. We have an additional 5 flytraps who are yet to have their chance at catching some prey, and we will see one of them today. After our poll in the last event, it has been decided that each plant will have 5 opportunities to move up the leaderboard instead of the original 3. This is to ensure the scores are fairer for all the plants. Regardless, let's see if Tiger Teeth can move up the leaderboard or if they will stay in the same spot. Wait a minute, this isn't right. Nearly 3 minutes to catch a fly. And the first trap didn't close. This shouldn't happen to Tiger Teeth. He is our jungle predator that was brought in to help us win these easy battles. This might have something to do with the bugs targeting our plants, but I'm really not too sure. I just hope our newest competitor hasn't been affected at all. Laid back, calm, and chilled out is not what comes to mind when describing a Venus flytrap. Yet, when it comes to Peaches, that is exactly who she is. She's just a tiny trap trying to support her best friend in this competition. She knows that she probably won't win, but her support could change the fate of one other flytrap, Red. You've probably noticed that neither one of these two have white tags. Only the cultivars can get that. This means they are the only 2 typicals in the greenhouse, the best of friends. She has been growing a lot of traps for this competition just to have a shot at getting even 1 catch, but honestly, she's just happy to be involved so that Red doesn't feel all alone during these events. What you are about to see is the declaration of war between us and all the flies and wasps in our garden.
Hey buddy, you've probably seen better days. What the hell has happened to you?
This guy has been through something, but I don't know what that something is. His wings look damaged, he is damp, and he seems to be injured.
Oh yeah, you're not scared of me, are you? All that nectar's got you drunk, eh?
Seeing as Peaches had attracted this fly while in the greenhouse, and he had probably fallen off because I moved the pot, I put him back up here so that Sweet Peaches could continue hunting for her food.
Be careful, this plant can kill you.
Now, as I start setting up the camera, you can see this wasp has also noticed that fly. So when the wasp attacked, not only was her meal stolen, but it was pulled right out of her mouth.
What the f?
As I slow down this clip, you can see the wings of the wasp flapping as it starts to fly away from me trying to turn the camera. This is probably the first ever video that shows how these wasps hunt, attack, and euthanize their prey.
Focus! He's stuck in a web! This is insane. Look how he's holding that fly. Okay, I hope you can see this properly. Is he biting his head?
This is mental. As you can see, after the wasp catches their prey, the very first thing they do is bite their head off to unalive them. That's his head. He just took his head off. After he got his head off, he started chewing the fly in half. Yet the most interesting thing is how he would stop me watching him from the side by constantly turning to face me. It's as if he is protecting his meal and wanted to have me directly in his sight.
He won't show me. He knows I'm here. He knows I'm watching. Look at that, there. Look at that.
You will have to forgive me for the shaky camera. I was obviously not prepared for this and had the wrong camera settings, but you can see exactly what he is doing here.
He's eaten him. He's like in half.
And for some reason, it was time for him to go and feed the meal he stole from Peaches to the hive.
That is insane.
We need to get revenge. I set the camera back up to give Peaches a second chance. Yet, this is when her fate was sealed. These ruthless flies juked sweet little Peaches again. The one little plant that deserves nothing but kindness and love has been mocked twice now. First by the wasps and now the flies. And as you know, missed catches lead to a dying plant. It is time to stand up against the wasps and the flies, as this cannot continue happening to our plants, especially the babies in the greenhouse. This is war. It is time to bring out the biggest plants in the collection. Brad's Giant and Spider. Brad's Giant is no stranger to battles. As you know, he must constantly eat to keep his mutations in check, otherwise he will end up wilting away. And due to all his years of testing in the laboratory, he understands the pain that Peaches must be going through. And that is why you can see just how hard he is fighting at holding back his trap from closing, which is all thanks to these small flies that are trying to sabotage him. Don't get it wrong though, cultivars aren't too fond of the typicals, yet seeing as Brad's Giant is a gentle giant, he doesn't mind putting up a fight to protect all the plants in the greenhouse. And by winning these battles, he can get more points to push him up the leaderboard. Our tortured soul, Brad's Giant, has got himself a green and blue fly double catch. Not only has he won the first battle in this war, but Brad's Giants will get extra points on the leaderboard, and if he wins the tournament, he could cure himself of his mutations. It seems as if we have found the Wasp's graveyard. If you didn't know, wasps remove their dead colony members from their nests to prevent diseases from spreading. What this means for us is that we can get revenge for Peaches. Spider was away for the last event and didn't know about Crosstooth knocking him out of first position on the leaderboard. So when the plants were offered the chance at catching the one insect that can easily escape getting caught, this bloodthirsty killer was more than happy to step up. Even though he has been slowed down by the swarm of flies, he has planned for this and came prepared with some bait to lure the wasp into his trap. He has to just hope that his addictive nectar and the fly bait is enough to keep the wasp inside the trap, as he can still escape through the top. As you saw earlier, the fly that the wasp stole from Peaches was too drunk and addicted to run away from me, and it is exactly the same with wasps. We have got revenge for Peaches, but at what cost? Let's find out on the leaderboard. Seeing as Peaches was duped by that green fly, technically it is a miss. This means she has a penalty time of 3 minutes for her first ever attempt at trying to support her friend, Red, in the Flytrap games. This puts her right at the bottom of the leaderboard in 6th position. Yet another one of our plants that performed today wasn't much better off. Tiger Teeth has also been affected by the fly army and reached an all-time low of 2 minutes and 56 seconds for today's catch, which averages him out to 2 minutes and 20 seconds. He started off so well with his double catch last episode, yet now he has dropped to 5th spot. This means he has swapped spots with Red, as Red's average time is sitting at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, even after he missed that triple catch thanks to those damn flies sabotaging him. Brad's Giant and Spider both had amazing catches today. Brad's Giant with a double catch and Spider with a wasp catch, which will give them bonus points that will be taken into effect in the next episode. Yet, for now, they will stay in the same spots with an average time of 1 minute and 5 seconds for Brad's Giant and 46 seconds for Spider. This is disappointing for Spider, as he had hoped to move back into first spot, beating Crosstooth's time of 29 seconds, but who knows how the leaderboard will look next episode after we take all the bonus points into account. However, I am not sure how much more we will be affected by the fly and wasp army. It's getting really bad now. We have a Venus Flytrap competition, and it is time for the world's biggest flytraps to challenge the leaders. They have been preparing for over 9 months now. But will they be able to hit first position to win the drop of blood? And what makes them the biggest fly traps in the world? I first discovered these plants in 2010. and back then I had no idea that they even existed. Yet when I started researching about them, I learned that you got different types of Venus flytraps. And just like the top performers in our competition, they are called cultivars. They come in different colors, shapes and sizes, but what is the one question on a 12-year-old's mind? What is the biggest Venus flytrap in the world? Well, back then there was one cultivar called B52. His traps are dark red and they measure up to 2¼ inches in length. And this is why he has the reputation of the world's biggest Venus flytrap. Yet 6 years later, rumors started to spread about a new giant Venus flytrap. This guy is packing 7 inches in total length, and ever since then he has been B52's biggest rival, as he can claim the title of the world's biggest flytrap. His name is DCXL. 9 months ago, my dreams of owning them finally became true. Along with a whole bunch of other baby flytraps, I got these two. Now they may not seem that big, but compared to when I first got them and all the other babies that I got at the same time, they have grown a lot and they have grown very quickly. But which one of them is better? The legend B52 or his long-term rival DCXL? You may be wondering how this competition works. All of our plants are timed from the moment a bug touches a trap until the plant catches or misses it. And today, at the end of the video, we are going to add all of the bonus points to the leaderboard, which comes from the types of bugs these guys catch during the competition. I am not surprised at how quickly this just happened. B52 is the legend, the most well-known Venus flytrap in the world, and he has just proven that even a 9-month-old baby can and will dominate the competition. These two competitors will send shockwaves to the heart of the fly and wasp army. It all started when the flies found a way into our greenhouse. When they get in there, they walk all over our baby fly traps, which kills them. On top of this, they have also learned how to steal nectar from our fly traps, all while avoiding getting caught. Yet, when they juked sweet little peaches, it was time to declare war. Now, we are currently losing the war. The flies have been escaping our traps more and more over the past few months, and even though we have the world's biggest Venus flytraps, it still isn't enough to protect all the plants in our greenhouse. However, after being attacked by the wasps, Peaches has actually managed to recover, and she wants to stay in the competition just so she can keep on supporting her friend, Red. Let's just hope she can finally get revenge. The past few months have been really difficult for Peaches. Not only has she lost a few traps because of her missed catches, but she has also had to recover from this in time for today's event. And honestly, if she keeps missing her catches like this, I don't know how much longer she will be able to stay in the competition. It's all good and well to support your friends, but at what cost? She can literally end up dying if this keeps happening. And what's worse is that these flies are seriously good at escaping from our plants. I think she needs to reconsider if she wants to stay in the competition or not. While Peaches has a bit to think about, our next newcomer to the series has only one thing on his mind: winning. B-52, the world's biggest and most famous Venus flytrap, has put on an incredible display earlier in today's episode. In fact, it was so good it could be a new record. Although you can't really see that, there's too much glare and I can't fix it, but yeah. Anyway, it is not too surprising that he did so well because he was literally made to perform. Yet, you must never discredit the competition. DCXL was literally bred for this. He was created to grow bigger than B-52 and take the crown as the world's biggest Venus flytrap. And what better way to do it than by beating him at his own game. However, he still has the current #1 Crosstooth to beat, who also holds the record for the quickest catch in the competition. And let's not forget about the ruthless assassin Spider or the gentle giant Brad's Giant, who are both much bigger than our babies DCXL and B-52. Yet something tells me that these two aren't too worried about the competition. They only want to outdo each other. "13 years. That's all it took for me to finally own these two gladiators. 6 years. That's how long it took for DCXL to be bred. 9 months. That's what it took for this baby to grow big enough to compete and shatter the hopes and dreams of all the other competitors in the series. And less than 4 seconds to dismantle any hopes that B-52 had of claiming that record. If you had any idea as to what was happening in this competition, think again. DCXL is not here to play games. Yet I can't help but wonder how the current #1, Crosstooth, will react to this. I've actually got him here, Crosstooth. He is so damn spoilt and full of himself that just because he is leading the competition, he has gone and cloned himself again. He is the second smallest flytrap in the competition, but that hasn't stopped him from winning and setting records, which you can't see because of the glare, and I can't fix it, guys, I'm sorry. Honestly, it's a huge surprise as we weren't sure if he'd be able to perform, let alone catch anything with those huge gaps in his teeth. Yet this might all change when we update the leaderboard after his next attempt. Let me put this into perspective for you. The winner of this competition will be given the drop of blood, the title as the general of the Flytrap army, and will be crowned as the ultimate Venus flytrap. Now I know this all seems very childish, trust me, I know, but the general of our army will actually have a very important role of keeping the fly population down. And because they would also be the ultimate Venus flytrap, we will use their flowers to create more babies. All great for an egotistic plant like Crosstooth. However, his next catch has to be as good as our newcomers, otherwise he will fall out of first position. All he needs to do is catch this fly as quick as the others and he'd still have a chance to win this competition. Did you guys see that? Crosstooth was so quick it even took a moment for the fly to realize he got caught. See? We have been so lucky in today's episode. We have had the best catches of the competition this far, and I can't imagine how the leaderboard is going to look. I know as much as you do about this. Nothing. So let's figure it out. There are a lot of things happening in this update, so I have a script to help me out. But the most important thing are the bonus points. This is the first time we are adding them on, so this leaderboard is going to get really close. Let's start with the worst attempt of the day, and that is Peach's miss. A missed catch is a 3-minute time penalty, so her average will stay the same. You literally can't get a worse score than this. And now, everyone in the competition above her moves down 2 positions. That's how good the competitors were today, even after the bonus points. Now, green flowers are worth 2 seconds, so Tiger Teeth goes down to 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Red will move to 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Someone told me I have 5-year-old handwriting, and I know my handwriting is bad, but yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Brad's Giant has the best stack of bonus points because he has a blue fly and a wasp catch. A wasp is worth 10 seconds and a blue fly is worth 6 seconds, and so that drops him down to 43 seconds, which means he's getting really close to Spider. And now for the most exciting part. With a record matching catch today, at 4 seconds, we have Crosstooth with a new average time of 11 seconds. This is extremely close to our new second spot competitor who got their first catch today at 6 seconds. B52. Remember, the bonus points mean he is now at 4 seconds, but this is not the craziest part of today's update. Crosstooth has an average time of 11 seconds. Think about how crazy that is. B52 and DCXL, they don't have an average time yet. They might have just been lucky today and their future catches might bring their averages down. And now, at a new record of 2.1833 seconds, DCXL is our top competitor for now. This also means that his time is 0 seconds after adding his bonus points. You literally can't get a better time than this. Now these 2 competitors should hopefully help us in the war. Thanks to them, we are now tied for the total amount of catches and misses across all of the videos on our channel. Hopefully we can turn this around and stop losing our plants. This Venus flytrap is called Dracula, and he is joining the competition for a drop of blood. However, this might be the biggest catch of the competition thus far. Over the past 5 months, our competitors have caught green flies, blue flies, and even wasps. Each one of these catches give the competitors bonus points on the leaderboard, which pushes them towards that first spot. But there is nothing more difficult or rarer to catch than a black fly that Dracula has right here. Let's find out if he has what it takes to catch the most agile bug in the garden. Not only has Dracula just caught the rarest bug in our garden, but it only took him 23 seconds to do it. On top of this, these flies are so quick and difficult to catch that when we update his time on the leaderboard, he will have so many bonus points that he will fly past the other competitors. However, today's rivals have had a few weeks of rest and are now more than ready to demolish his 23-second catch. Yet, unlike Dracula, who is pretty mysterious and a flytrap we don't know much about, Tiger Teeth is really struggling. Of course, he wants to beat the 23-second standard of the day, but his last catch was nearly 3 minutes long and puts him directly into 7th position. This is actually embarrassing for him, as he is a specialized Venus flytrap who is losing to Red, a common flytrap. On top of this, he joined the series to prove that despite being young, that he could still win. But this won't happen if he stays in 7th spot. The only way to move past Red and bring less embarrassment to himself and all the other cultivars is to beat the 23-second standard of the day. This is embarrassing for him. He's proven just how inexperienced he is by making 2 major mistakes. He should have waited for this fly to get into the right position, as a few of his legs are still on the edge of his mouth. This makes it easier for him to pull himself out if he were to get caught. Yet, his biggest mistake is that he hesitated with his squeeze. If he squeezed just a bit quicker, he wouldn't have lost his catch and could have set a new time for the day. I can only imagine how bad his position might look when we update the leaderboard, but I know for a fact that our next competitor is more than ready to set a new standard for the day. Between his friend Peaches getting attacked by a wasp,
This is mental.
and his unsuccessful attempt at a record-breaking triple catch, Red has been out of the Flytrap games for 3 events straight. Some subscribers say he is too embarrassed to try again, yet others say he has been helping Peaches recover. Regardless, the facts don't change. He is sitting above Tiger Teeth, a specialized Flytrap, by 1 spot. This is a huge opportunity for him, as he is the first ever standard Flytrap to outcompete a cultivar. On top of this, with the amounts of rest he has had, and today's time to beat at only 23 seconds, I think Red is going to show us another one of his power catches. Wow, this is probably the best thing that could have ever happened for Red. Not only is this his quickest catch yet, but he has also just set a new time of the day. Let's take another look at what just happened, as it seems like that fly nearly got away. Oh wow, if Red was even a split second slower, this fly would have easily been able to squeeze through his teeth. Look at how much they bend forward just to hold this fly back. I don't know if he got lucky with this catch or not, but this is a huge opportunity for him to get a better spot in the competition. Yet, we still have 1 more Flytrap in today's event before we update the leaderboard, and with a new time to beat, I wonder how well Spider is going to do with this added pressure. Spider has had a bit of a strange competition so far. Although he is the biggest Flytrap in the garden, all his catches up until now have been pretty average. 2 flies and 1 wasp is all he has managed. This has been a big surprise to all of us, as he is one of the favorites to win the competition, especially as he is looking for his biggest catch yet, a human, and winning this competition will bring him 1 step closer to that. However, he will have to beat the new time of the day, 11 seconds, to have a chance at moving up the leaderboard. All credit to him. He has been slowly chipping away at his average time, but he is nearly finished all 5 of his catches for the competition. It might just be that he is betting on the top 3 competitors to have bad catches in the future events, which is very possible. You subscribers have seen just how much the leaderboards have changed in the past few months. Regardless, I wonder if he can show us why he is so feared by all the other competitors. Damn, he makes it look easy. Not only has he just smashed the time of the day, but he has also caught a blue fly worth 6 bonus points. Let's take a second look at that. Look at him! He's clueless. This fly must be just as surprised as us. This catch was so quick that he didn't even react. Remember guys, Crosstooth once had a catch as quick as this, and that stayed as a record for quite a while. 4 seconds is insane, and this with his added bonus points mean he is getting extremely close to pushing his way into the top spots. And talking about that, let's update the leaderboard and take a look at where all our competitors now stand. Well guys, it has been a very fast-paced episode, simply because we have had such amazing catches from all of our contestants today. What this also means is that the top 3 spots have changed once again, and it's getting very, very close up there. So let's get started. In 9th spot, we have Peaches. No surprise there because she still hasn't caught anything, and it is looking very, very bleak for her down there. Of course, she's moved down 1 spot because we have our new contestant today, Dracula. In 8th spot, we have Tiger Teeth, who isn't performing much better than her, to be honest. He had his first miss today, which means that he has gained an extra 13 seconds after his 3-minute time penalty. And thanks to that really good catch and a 2-second bonus for actually catching the fly, Red has been able to shave off 30 seconds from his old time. Just above him, we have Brad's Giant, who isn't really worrying about Red as his time puts him pretty far out of reach, but this is where things start to get spicy. After his 4-second catch today on a blue fly, which gives him 6 extra bonus seconds, Spider has been able to shave off 17 seconds from his average time. Guys, look at how close Spider is to overtaking Crosstooth at 11 seconds. Did I not say he was a fierce competitor in the series? Now, the top 3 are very close, but keep in mind they've only each had 1 chance in the competition so far. In the next events, their averages are probably going to get worse, so I genuinely cannot imagine what this leaderboard is going to look like in a couple months. In 3rd spot, we have Dracula. But remember, he caught that black fly at 23 seconds. The rarest and most agile bug in our garden. That means he gets a massive bonus point of 14 seconds, bringing him down to an average of 9 seconds. That's huge. That is massive. Now we have no change with the top 2. B52 sits at 4 seconds, and I still can't believe it, but DCXL is sitting at 0 seconds. If you didn't see his catch, that was in episode number 5, and that is also when he set the record of the series this far. And anyway, we are now losing the war again, so hopefully next episode we can turn that around. I am going to give a drop of my blood to the quickest Venus flytrap in the world so that we can grow an entire army of them. But before they end up eating me, we need to find out which one that is. Between one of our competitors attempting a double catch and one of them trying to get a new record time, we also meet our newest competitor in today's episode. Yet, this also means that some of our oldest competitors are at the end of their run. Our mutated monster, Brad's Giant, has been missing for a while. He has been recovering from being in 4 episodes straight, and with all that rest, he is now ready for his last ever catch in the Flytrap games. If he gets a good time, he could move up the leaderboard and get that drop of blood. Yet, if he doesn't, he will just have to continue suffering through his mutations by hunting for food that never fills him up. Seeing as Brad's Giant has to eat more than any other flytrap just to keep himself going, he can recognize something that we can't. You see, this fly is a little bit hesitant and didn't want to get too close to him too quickly. But as you'll find out, Brad's Giant knows this. While other flytraps might rush and miss this fly as soon as it jumps in, Brad's countless catches over the years have taught him the right technique for each situation. That's why he has the most catches and has never missed once in this competition. Yet, he also needs to remember that he shouldn't take too long and let this fly escape. If he wants to move up the leaderboard, he can't risk letting him go. Okay, look, this fly doesn't even realize he's just been caught. We're so used to flytraps having these insane catches that when an experienced plant shows you how simple it could be, it seems weird. And to top it all off, this is a new personal best for him at 22 seconds. In his last ever catch of the Flytrap games, Brad's Giant has moved himself down to a respectable 32 seconds. Now of course this doesn't move his position. For now. You see, we still have a double catch coming up, And let's not forget about our new and last addition to the Flytrap games, who could move above everyone else. When I was a kid, I always wanted a shark because they are basically dinosaurs. But when I realized I didn't have an ocean in my house, I got the second best version, Sharktooth. Now, he might not be as cool as a real shark, but he still has an appetite for my blood. You see, Sharktooth has lived his whole life on land and wants to finally put those teeth of his to use and eat something other than a fly. Yet, the thing that makes him unique is also his biggest weakness. Most flytraps have long teeth, which really helps them catch their food. And seeing as Sharktooth has, well, shark teeth, he might not be able to perform as well as his cousins in the ocean can. 14 bonus points. That's what this guy is worth because he is the quickest fly in our garden. Yet, even though he is 50 times faster than a Venus flytrap, Sharktooth actually has a way to trick him. You see, he catches flies by making them feel safer than what they actually are. Most flytraps close as soon as a bug walks into their trap, yet Sharktooth waits. This makes the fly relax a little bit, as if Sharktooth were to close too soon, the fly would be gone in the blink of your eye. Yet this fly is so careful that he walks around the outside of the trap to avoid those trigger hairs. Now, this would work well if Sharktooth only used his trigger hairs, but he doesn't. Some fly traps are so sensitive that you can touch them almost anywhere and they will close. Trust me, it is very annoying. While this catch changes things, let's slow this down and see just how good his timing was. You see, this fly was more than able to jump out the top of this trap right here. But because Sharktooth didn't rush and made this fly feel so safe, he managed to catch him at the best possible moment, when his back was turned. You know, I just realized it, but the past 2 catches have been from plants being patient. Now 42 seconds is nothing to brag about, but those 14 bonus points have put Sharktooth into a pretty good spot. Yet if he wants that number 1 position, he's going to have to try a little bit harder than that. Especially because we have a double catch coming up, and let's not forget about a flytrap that could change everything. The king of all flytraps, the biggest in the world, and our current number 2? B-52 is the most famous flytrap in the world, but who would have thought that he'd be outshined by the very plants created to steal that title? 3 minutes after B-52 set a new record in the flytrap games and made himself the leader in the competition, DCXL came around and set a perfect score of 0 seconds, smashing the record just set by B-52 and pushing his way into first spot. Now if that were me, I would have just given up. But I'm not a champion Venus flytrap. And seeing as he knows he has to outdo the young star, he's pulled in a juicy blue fly that we're going to name after a subscriber, Isaac. And I think Isaac is a spy from the fly army. You see, Isaac knows that if he rushes in too quick, that he could hit those trigger hairs and end up joining his friend in the afterlife. Yet he has done the worst thing possible and tasted this nectar. I know Isaac can't help it, as he is a fly, yet this will pull him deeper into the trap towards those deadly trigger hairs. But I think he knows something we haven't seen. These trigger hairs are bent. They might have been damaged by a bigger bug in the past, which also explains why these teeth are damaged. Something like a big spider could have easily broken these on their way out, but this just proves that Isaac isn't as silly as we first thought. I just wonder if his gamble for nectar will pay off. That's embarrassing. He's left the door wide open for DCXL, especially because he's attempting a double catch. I don't know why you'd join a competition and not be patient, especially with injuries like that. but when you are the world's most famous Venus flytrap, you have to perform. That catch would have been so quick that he would have been our new #1, but DCXL is still outshining him. Being a mutated freak might have backfired for other flytraps, but it's working out pretty well for him. His whole purpose is to replace B-52, and this wouldn't be possible if he wasn't bred for this, like a superhuman athlete or something. And being a superhuman, super plant, he also has super addictive nectar, which causes some strange things to happen when different flies find each other. The thing is, they can end up bullying each other. This can happen when other flies take all the nectar, which causes smaller flies like this guy to hide. Yet, he has made a plan to get some anyway. You see, after this big fly found his hiding spot, he realizes that the trap is now open. But we both know that a fly trap is a dangerous place for a bug. Regardless, he takes a look around the corner and notices that there's no other flies around. However, as soon as he starts eating, he is in danger, and this isn't because of DCXL. All of the big flies can now see him, and they might want some nectar too. And these big flies can set off the trap. Yet, this little fly might not be too worried about this. Seeing as he is quite small, he might think that he can fit through the gaps in the flytrap's teeth, leaving his bully stuck in the trap while he escapes. That catch was horrible. Yeah, a double catch is always great, but not when it takes that long. 2 minutes and 41 seconds is nearly as bad as a missed catch penalty, but it is good enough for one thing: staying ahead of B-52. One of these competitors has got to be the worst Venus flytrap ever. Every single time Peaches gets close to catching a fly, it's a soft miss, earning her the reputation of the weakest and most helpless flytrap ever? Well, as it turns out, this doesn't make sense. If she was too weak to catch flies, she wouldn't have secretly grown 13 babies in the past few months. So she must have a lot of energy hidden away in her rhizome. But why would she join the competition just to lose on purpose and apparently support her friend Red? Well, if she misses today's catch again, it could prove that she is the smartest flytrap ever. Now, she has already attracted a green fly, but let's be honest, the 2 bonus points from this guy won't move her out of 10th position. And the thing is, it's entirely her fault for being in this spot. After her first catch was stolen from her by a wasp, she was given a second chance to prove herself, and as it turns out, she missed it by letting it slip through her teeth. Now, this would have been normal if she hadn't done the exact same thing for her 3rd round in the ring too. And if she does it again today, well, she must be doing it on purpose. Yep, she did it again. It's like she catches them but then lets them slip out between her teeth. This must be happening on purpose, and the only explanation could be Red. Now, Red hasn't been doing too well either, but he has been doing better than 2 flytraps: Peaches, and the most inexperienced flytrap we have, Tiger Teeth. The reason that both Peaches and Red are exclusively friends with each other is because they are the only typical flytraps in the greenhouse. They aren't special, they aren't unique, and they clearly aren't good at competing with these specialized plants in the flytrap games. But they are friends who care about each other. And every single time Peaches misses a catch, Red doesn't end up scoring in that round of the competition. Some say it's because he wants to comfort her, some say that he doesn't want to outshine her, yet some say that they're just plants and it literally doesn't mean anything. But one thing is for certain, and that is as long as Peaches misses, she gets his attention. It's unknown as to why she wants his attention, yet her plan should unravel as the tournament goes on. It could be for a selfish reason, or it could be that she genuinely is getting sick. Regardless, he has no clue that this is happening, as he is constantly practicing his catches in our short videos, just so he can prove that he is a worthy competitor in the Flytrap games. And so far, all he has done is miss as many flies as he has caught, and feel guilty for bringing Peaches into a competition which has apparently made her sick. Between his feelings of guilt, constant training, and not wanting to face his reality of not being good enough, he knows that his last ever catch in the Flytrap games has to be special, or else his entire identity might crumble in front of him. For this underdog to move up even one spot on the leaderboard, Red must catch this fly in under 2 minutes. This shouldn't be too difficult for him, especially with all the training and strategies he's learned. And you might have seen it already, but he's making this fly feel safer than it actually is. Even with a skeleton in his trap, he could still close around something that walks into it. But by not closing around this fly, twice now, it feels so safe that it'll walk into all of the traps without thinking about it. This fly barely reacted. He's so surprised that all he could do is take a step back. This is by far Red's best ever catch, yet after this disappointing run in the games, it's time he realizes that typicals just aren't as good as cultivars. They are literally bred to be special, unlike him and Peaches. And even though he literally has the most practice out of all the flytraps in the greenhouse, he's still at the bottom of the leaderboard after all 5 of his catches. Did he not prepare enough? Or is the competition just that tough? Hell, even Peaches is struggling in his eyes. Regardless, imagine how irritating it must be to put that much work and effort into something, only to find out that even the most clueless of cultivars are having more success than you. Take Sharktooth for example. He's been named after a shark for the simple fact that his teeth look, well, like a shark's. Ignoring the fact that he's built like a plant that's bound to the soil, he still thinks that all sharks want is blood, and that's his reason for joining the competition. It's as if everything he knows about sharks was seen on TV, and although he is clueless, he's still doing better than Red. And seeing as he's in the competition to copy his ancestors, it's a wonder as to what tactics he might use, especially because he doesn't have long teeth like his real ancestors. You see, long teeth are really useful at holding flies inside the trap, and if he had normal teeth, he would be able to catch both of these flies. But because he doesn't, it's actually really clever of him to let one go so that he can ambush the other one. That's a great catch by Sharktooth. This fly was perfectly distracted by his nectar, and Sharktooth got him when he least expected it. It doesn't look much like a shark catch, but it does look like a flytrap catch. And after an effortless catch like that, Red would be really irritated right now. This silly cultivar has done so well in today's event that he has just moved 2 spots away from the most mysterious flytrap in the competition, Dracula. And while Sharktooth is really light-hearted and here to explore more of his apparent culture, Dracula is here to win and has nothing else on his mind. So you can imagine how awkward it would be if Sharktooth, someone so clueless, actually met Dracula for the first time. He would say something like, "Oh hey man, I just caught a fly, it was so wicked. I can teach you a thing or two about drinking blood and fast catches." And then Dracula just vanishes to get into the ring, leaving Sharktooth in awe of something he wished his ancestors could also do. Too bad they're just plants, right? Anyway, the thing about Dracula is that he really is mysterious. There's no record of where he came from or who created him, but his catching technique is excellent. First, he attracts flies towards him with those dark rare traps. Second, he baits them in with tasty nectar. And third, closes around his victims with a steady and controlled movement. You literally can't get anything more consistent than this. A swift, calm and quick catch always manages to catch flies off guard, but it isn't something all of our competitors are worried about. While Dracula is lusting over first position for some mysterious reason, the two most famous flytraps are fighting their own battle. DCXL and B52. For the past 11 years, there's been endless debate as to which one of them is better. But as it stands, B52, the world's biggest and most famous flytrap, is currently losing to the flytrap that was bred to outdo him, DCXL. After B52's shocking miss in Event 7, DCXL is feeling as confident as ever to expand this newfound gap between him and B52 in today's event. To top it all off, not only is he sitting above his one and only rival, but he also holds the record time for the quickest ever recorded catch in history. And although these two are literally babies fighting alongside adults, they'll just keep on breaking records in this series, just like they have in the past. Back in episode 7, DCXL completed the first ever double catch in the competition, and today he's trying to do it again. He has a black fly here and a green one, yet this small fly seems too drunk to fall for DCXL's tricks, unlike all the other bugs in the traps around him. But if anything, this just shows that DCXL is using some really strong nectar to hunt for food, which explains why this green fly is so excited to have a taste. Oh damn, this just proves how useful long teeth are for Venus flytraps. Unlike Sharktooth or even Dracula, having these long teeth really helps to hold bugs in by basically making their traps longer. If it weren't for these teeth, DCXL would be feeling just as embarrassed as B52 did in the last event. Now after a catch that would make Red and Peaches feel like heroes, DCXL is leading B52 by nearly 1 whole minute. He might not want to admit it, but B52's reign could be coming to an end. The facts show that DCXL's 7 years of development has been worth it, and with his whole purpose being to outshine B52, it's no wonder that he is performing so well. A double catch, the world's fastest recorded catch, and catching the rarest bug in the competition, all in one of your first ever events, is nearly impossible to do, let alone beat, which is what B52 must do to hold on to his crown. And with a 3-minute penalty for missing in his last event, B52 will need to pull off a miracle today to redeem himself. Just like DCXL, B52 also has a couple meals in his traps, but for some reason, this green fly just isn't attracted to any of his traps. This is very strange as flies usually don't stand around. What is that? Oh shit, that thing is massive! No wonder that green fly was too scared to move. Damn, and he's doing a good job of avoiding those two traps, but he is too big to fit in anyway. Nah, there's no ways he'll fit. What? What? How the hell did that just happen? How is it possible for something that big to fit in there? And how did B52 attract that into his trap? We may have spoken badly about B52 too soon, because not only was this his best ever catch, but he just destroyed DCXL's previous record, and he has slashed that 50-second lead down to only a 5-second gap. DCXL must be gagging at how this had just turned out for him, and must be so nervous for what's to come, as B52 is clearly not here to play around. So this flytrap is feeling the pressure. In 2013, DCXL was hand-selected to compete against the biggest and most popular flytrap in the world, B52. And up until now, he was proving himself. He even set a record, completed a double catch, and scored the best ever average time in one of his first events of this competition, all as a baby plant. Yet all that confidence he built was destroyed by the very competitor he's meant to steal the crown from, B-52. As the world's biggest and most popular flytrap, B-52's slip-up in episode 7 was very unusual, which is when DCXL capitalized on this mistake and created his first and last 1 minute lead. Because the very next opportunity B-52 had, he redeemed himself by completely obliterating DCXL's world record and brought himself within striking distance of DCXL's lead. And seeing as this plant is still so immature, it's a guess as to how well he's going to handle the heat. And by immature, I mean he's literally still a baby plant. So think about this. He's a baby plant in a competition with the top predators in the greenhouse. He knows that he can't miss this catch and waste his energy. He also needs to get a double catch here for double points so that he can beat the king of all flytraps. As this is his purpose. And that's a lot of stress even for me. Oh damn. Poor guy choked under all that pressure and at the very last moment got his timing wrong. This is a devastating loss for him, as this 3-minute penalty opens up a massive opportunity for B-52 to take over. Hopefully the rest of his run won't be the same as what's happening to our jungle warrior, Tiger Teeth. Last summer, the plants were having a very serious war with the flies and wasps. The flies kept finding ways into their greenhouse and trampled over the baby fly traps, which drains their energy and kills them. And as for the wasps, well, they attacked Peaches in Event 4 and stole her catch right out of her mouth. And while the reasons Peaches keeps missing her catches are starting to reveal themselves, the wasp war is at a standstill right now because it is winter, and all of this has put Tiger Teeth in a strange position. Hell, in his first ever event, Event 3, he showed the world that double catches were possible, and since then, other flytraps have copied him with double and even triple catches. He was the reinforcements for the war, yet after the war went cold, he's stopped catching bugs. And with this being his last ever catch in the competition, he needs to do well enough to at least pull himself just 1 spot higher on the leaderboard to get past Red, the typical flytrap. It would be embarrassing for him to be the only specialized cultivar that doesn't beat both typicals, especially since he was brought in to help them against the fly and wasp army. Yet, when the stress of performance gets to you, just like it got to DCXL earlier, it can really mess you up. However, it seems as if Tiger Teeth isn't going to be happy with just a single catch. If he catches 2 or more bugs, he could double, triple, or even quadruple his points. And it seems as if he might be trying to go for this in a last-ditch effort to pull himself above Red, which would honestly save his reputation. He just needs to be sure he won't regret this decision, as if he takes too long, he will hit the time limit and a triple catch won't help him there. Oh damn, he nearly had that fly too. This is what happens when greed gets the better of you and your time limit starts getting close. You rush things. And don't think that having long teeth could have saved him here, because the top contestant doesn't have any either. It's always said that the longer the teeth, the easier the catch. But Dracula is proving that wrong. Peaches, who is at the bottom of the leaderboard, has long teeth, yet she always misses. Or maybe she just has soft misses and lets them escape. But Dracula, on the other hand, has never missed once. This proves that there's more to a catch than just how a trap physically looks. There's timing, colors, and even different scents. And for some plants, what seems like strategies. So it's no wonder that Dracula, the most mysterious of all our flytraps, is doing so well, because no one can figure out his secrets of winning without looking like a traditional flytrap. Additionally, unlike all the other flytraps, no one really knows what he wants to do with the blood if he wins. All we do know is that flies are basically under his control when they get near him. Like this fly here. It's walking straight towards him without a second thought. And there we see it, he's got to be showing off that mysterious strategy here. You don't need teeth to catch your food, you can have little knives like this and still win. This just further proves that Peaches seems to be losing on purpose. Every single one of her catches has been the same. Soft miss after soft miss. She even has long teeth, which doesn't help her claim that she isn't strong enough to catch bugs. However, last episode, it was revealed how Red doesn't end up catching food for the competition when Peaches misses. Well, some people have mentioned that it's because he is basically giving her attention. Attention which she likes. Bear with me here, I know they're plants, but plants often flower together, and in some cases, even work together by sending out specific signals which could cause other plants nearby to flower too. And as we know, flowers should be cut off unless we want to make seed, as this drains them of their energy. But what is the one type of flytrap most people let flower anyway because they just don't care? That's right, typicals, just like her and Red. To top it all off, he is the only typical I have ever seen with such beautiful coloration. It's almost as if their babies could be so good looking that they themselves could become cultivars. Now it's just a theory, but if she misses every single catch, which causes Red to not want to move, they'll just end up sitting together in their part of the greenhouse. And seeing as they're one of the only plants whose flowers I wouldn't cut off because they're just boring typicals, they will end up making seeds together. And the craziest part of all of this is that Red hasn't even thought about this once. He's been trying to win this competition, so it'll be interesting to see what happens between them in her last catch next episode. This isn't even a surprise. All of her catches are nearly identical. She has a slow and soft miss, which keeps her in the greenhouse next to Red. You know, if Red still had one more catch to go, I would have forced them to compete together, just to see if they would work together to catch a bug. Yet, it is a fact that some plants could never hunt together. Some competitors, like Spider, is the biggest and most dangerous flytrap in the greenhouse, as he literally steals all the food from the other flytraps. And if he was hunting with someone like Peaches, she would never see another fly again, unlike Spider, who has eaten flies, wasps, and even spiders. And although he wants his biggest ever catch to be a human, he's going to need something good for his last ever catch today if he wants to move up the leaderboard. However, he has one fatal flaw. He often leaves his old catches in his traps, just like this, which is a tactic to attract more food towards him. This is how he ended up catching a wasp in episode 4, as the wasp thought this dead fly was an easy snack until it itself became the snack. Yet having skeletons on his traps isn't always the best idea if he isn't going to attract something like a wasp or spider. This is exactly the issues he has. These dead flies are holding the trap open. This fly's got this, it's such a simple way out. This just proves that sometimes a strategy can work when hunting other predators, but it won't work for hunting smaller prey. And although using bait in the form of skeletons works very well for catching things like spiders and wasps, it's not the only way to catch them. While some fly traps, like Spider, are sticky and hold on to their skeletons, some fly traps end up with clean traps thanks to the wind and rain. And as much as wasps love meat, they also love water and nectar, especially the nectar which Sharktooth uses in his traps. Yet wasps being addicted to nectar is useless without the ability to remain calm, especially because they are one of the only bugs that can escape from a trap. Luckily for Sharktooth, his laid-back attitude has really helped him to remain calm in this competition, as being stressed like almost all the other flytraps today has resulted in a lot of missed catches. So if he wants to follow his shark ancestors and get that blood, he'll need to tap into whatever shark brain he thinks he has and hunt like one. However, he probably knows nothing. Almost everything he knows about sharks seems to come from TV, and on top of that, he is a plant. He is barely related to any kind of animal, but if he thinks he's related to them just because of his name, then he will need to prove that by catching this wasp without messing up. And although wasps really do love the nectar from flytraps, it's a really good idea for Sharktooth to take his time here, as they are the one insect that can push and even bite their way out of a trap if they are quick enough. Oh, he got it! He just has to hold it back, which shouldn't be a problem for him. The flytrap nectar has got this wasp pretty drunk. Wow, Sharktooth, he's done well, and the 10 bonus points must really help his position on the leaderboard. With some of the best times we have ever seen on the leaderboard, things are now getting tight as we get to the last 2 episodes of the series. Yet, there is something deadlier than a flytrap in this garden. Wasps. They've stolen flies right out of the flytrap's mouths, and they've also become the flytrap's catchers. Yet, despite this, they aren't the most difficult or rarest bugs to catch. And while watching Sharktooth catch one of these hull spawn is great, there's something much quicker, rarer, and more difficult to catch that Sharktooth knows all about. And while that wasp gave him 10 bonus points last episode, he'll never forget his first ever catch of the competition, which gave him a massive 14 bonus points. 14 bonus points that, if he got again, could easily make him one of the finalists for My Blood next episode. Yet, there's always a risk when going up against the black fly. Seeing as it is the most difficult bug to catch, the chance that he gets the 3-minute penalty from missing is much higher. A penalty that means he might never be able to taste that drop of blood and find out if he really is 0.001% shark like he claims to be. Yet, he does have some interesting strategies. He's let this fly move into one of his other traps, which might be a mistake. It's possible that he's using the make the fly feel safe strategy, which could work well for this agile fly, yet this also means his average catch time will go up. Yet, that's the risk you've got to take when catching the rarest bug in the competition. Oh damn, that strategy nearly worked. It's like he hesitated, which gave the fly just enough time to get between his teeth and jump out before he could even close. This is a major hit to his position on the leaderboard. Unless his catch next episode breaks records, he's pretty much out of the running for the prize. Now, it might be true that if he had longer teeth, this fly would have got caught. But as Dracula proved last episode, short teeth isn't a bad thing. And if anything, he's shown that he's taking this competition very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that he is currently in first position with such a good time that his bonus points have given him credit. And honestly, seeing as he is so mysterious and that no one knows anything about him, it's concerning to think about what a flytrap called Dracula would do with my blood. Hopefully he'd only grow bigger so that he can duplicate and make more deadly fly traps and hold back all the flies in summer. But a small part of me wonders if he might get addicted to the blood and find a way to get me at night. Dracula is still feeding on bugs for now, and he has his eye on his next victim. a juicy blue fly. Once again, he is using his intelligence instead of relying on long teeth, as everything in the flytrap world is about timing. He could have closed by now, but by giving this fly some extra time, it'll edge itself into the best possible spot. He is always so composed when he catches his prey. Every single time he gets a bug, it's always a confident and controlled catch without hesitation. That's not something all the flytraps can brag about. Take Tiger Teeth for instance. Ever since he messed up in episode 6, he's become such a nervous wreck that he's hesitated in every single catch. Even a 3-month break to create new traps didn't help. He actually seems to have gotten worse. Now it could be from inexperience, or it could be because he feels like he isn't useful anymore, as the Wasp War is over. Regardless, he's just not doing well. In fact, it's so bad that Peaches, the only plant doing worse than him, could actually overtake him if she ends up catching something. And after her argument with Red last night, it's very possible that her catches might change, seeing as she's finally got his attention. But until her catch later, Tiger Teeth has got a grubby blue fly here, which could be his saving grace. And by using his addictive nectar, he looks like he'll be able to pull this fly into his trap. This is what helped him do so well in episode 3, but if he can't capitalize on this opportunity now, then his time in the competition is over. Once again, this isn't a surprise. This is just pure hesitation. He's always either too slow to catch the fly or too fast, which scares flies away before they're in the right spot. And while some plants do catch flies by moving extremely slowly, I'm pretty sure Tiger Teeth doesn't even know about this tactic. Yet having a tactic, an insanely messed up and twisted tactic, is exactly what Peaches has been doing. She's fooled everyone into thinking that she's just a helpless plant joining the competition to support her friend, Red. Yet, as it turns out, she's missed all of her catches on purpose to get Red's attention. And it has worked perfectly up until last episode. Every single one of her catches could have worked out perfectly, yet she purposefully lets her catches out. And every time she does this, Red doesn't end up catching a fly that day, which gives them more time together in the greenhouse. And more time together means that they can flower together and make some seeds. All of this without Red even knowing until last episode. What's more surprising, however, is that Red doesn't even mind making seed with her. He's just upset that she has missed every single catch on purpose, which means she might have a new tactic today in her last catch of the Flytrap games. Now, seeing as she has secretly been growing 13 babies over the past few months, while pretending to be sick, she has traps everywhere. So the only one that will count for her today is the one in the middle. And after Red argued that she can't lose to a cultivar, not only is she attracting a ton of flies here, but she might pull off a Dracula level catch. Remember, this catch doesn't count, but every time she has caught a fly like this, she has let it escape. This just shows what getting some attention can do to a fly trap. And there it is. A catch that is as quick as the top competitors in the games, all from a plant pretending to be useless. And to top it all off, this has managed to put her just above Tiger Teeth, which is a huge slap in the face to us, him, and all the other cultivars in the competition. All of this just so she can get some attention from Red. Yet, unlike Peaches, who is now working with Red, there are some plants that are working against each other in a battle for fame. DCXL and B52, the world's most famous Venus flytrap. Seeing as DCXL was created to outdo B52, he has been holding a lot of stress on his leaves. So much stress, in fact, that he completely choked up and missed last episode. After this king, B52 absolutely dismantled his previous world record and set his own. And on top of setting a new world record, B52 improved his score so much that he even pulled himself within 5 seconds of overtaking DCXL, all from one catch. And seeing as they're now pretty even, our baby B52 is feeling so confident that he's taking on a giant blue fly that's nearly bigger than his traps. Oh damn, and he's got it! It barely fits in his trap, but he's managed to hold it back. He's just proving his worth here by making it impossible for DCXL to catch him. Bear in mind that B52 is literally still a baby plant, and if he's catching flies like this, he's going to be a monster when he gets bigger. And seeing as DCXL is also a baby who should have traps rivaling the size of B52's when he gets older, one can only imagine what their greenhouse is going to look like when summer comes around. Yet this doesn't answer the question of which one is better. Although DCXL is falling behind, B52 still has one more catch to go, which could move him below DCXL if he performs badly next episode. And if DCXL gets a really good time today, in his last ever catch, then he could pull ahead and claim the title of the king of the Flytraps. This is one of the few times the skeleton of a catch is being used as part of a strategy in this series. We usually see it on our shorts channel, but having the skeleton in a trap attracts other predators who think they found an easy meal. But an interesting fact that isn't really spoken about is that flies like to clump together. That's why they generally eat poop together instead of all alone. Oh, he caught the fly backwards! This is such an interesting tactic, as usually flies focus on the traps or the nectar. But this is probably the first time a fly has got caught because he wasn't interested in the trap. Now this catch has moved DCXL into 6th position, so one can only wonder if B52 will double down for the prize or relax in the final episode. There is no better way to start off the finale than with the king of the Flytraps. B52 has always been the biggest and most popular flytrap in the world. Yet 11 years ago, he met his biggest threat to that title, DCXL. And the Flytrap games has been their battleground. Although B52 fell behind early in the competition, he has more than proven his status by setting a world record catch in episode 8, and skyrocketed all the way from 7th position to 3rd. What's made this worse for his biggest rival, DCXL, is that the moment B52 broke his record, he choked up, which gave B52 the chance to take over the leaderboard. However, the question of which one is better hasn't been settled yet. B52 still has one more attempt, and if he messes up, he will dip below DCXL, who will then be our new king. Yet, if B52 catches something, anything, he will hold onto his spot above DCXL and be a major competitor for the prize, especially because our top competitors still have one more catch to go, and if they mess up, then top spot will be open for anyone. Now bear in mind that these two fierce rivals are literally babies, and although these traps are average size, they're actually the smallest they will ever be. And even at this small size, they can still catch some impressive bugs, like a damn spider. This is the first time a spider has ever been seen in the Flytrap games, as they generally don't come out during the day, let alone out in the open where the plants compete. This guy was probably sleeping under the traps and must have woken up when the pot was moved outside. Regardless, they do make up the majority of a flytrap's diet, so it isn't too surprising that he's here. It also won't be surprising if he escapes, because they are that strong. Yet knowing how well B-52's nectar works at getting bugs drunk, it's likely that this spider won't see it coming. Damn, that was fast! It's no wonder that B-52 remains our king. He never disappoints with his catches. And thinking back on it, he has some of the craziest catches in the competition. Like when he caught that giant black and white fly in episode 8. That thing was way too big to get caught in a trap that small, yet he still ended up setting his world record. But seeing a spider in this competition isn't something I was expecting, so I don't know how many bonus points he should get. I didn't even print a picture for it. 16 points may be fair, as this is 2 more than the previous rarest bug in the competition, the black fly that we just saw. Regardless, this insane catch keeps him far above his biggest rival, DCXL, which settles that debate for now, while they're babies. However, we do have one contestant that doesn't seem to have grown up, even though they are a mature plant. Sharktooth, who believes he is a shark for the simple fact that he is named after one, is trying to follow his ancestors and get a taste of blood. Now, unless he catches something as interesting as a spider, his chances are pretty slim. Well, okay then, a wasp. That's interesting, especially because they can escape. And if he can get a good enough time with this hull spawn, he could easily compete for the drop of blood against the 2 leading fly traps in today's event, Dracula and Crosstooth. That's if he can actually hold on to this wasp. They are one of the few insects that can push and bite their way out of a fly trap. And although this hasn't happened so far in this series, it might be for a good reason. The only times wasps rarely eat their way out of a trap is when they get caught without eating too much addictive nectar. And the only fly traps that rarely attract them are the experienced ones that know how to use their nectar. So Sharktooth is doing a perfect job, as a fly trap, at getting this wasp drunk before trying to catch it, as a miss will push him so far from the leaders that winning the blood will only stay a dream for him. Oh damn, this wasp could easily escape right now. All she needs to do is walk backwards and she'd be free. But it seems like the nectar has got her so drunk that she's making the worst mistake of her life by staying still. This is great for Sharktooth, but this probably reminds him of his biggest ever mistake from episode 10. If he hadn't missed that fly, he would have been much higher up on the leaderboard and could have easily competed with the top fly traps, especially because the top spots can still change. Yet, a mistake is something the number 1 has never made. Dracula. It's a mystery, but he arrived in the competition out of nowhere and has absolutely dominated everyone. He's done so well that he has credit time from all of his bonus points. Obviously, I'm a bit worried, as I don't really want a plant called Dracula to get a drop of my blood. And as unfortunate as it is, my saving grace and Dracula's biggest competition is still looming in the background. The spoiled brat Crosstooth. It's amazing that a plant with gaps in his teeth has come this far, but I'd rather deal with Crosstooth bragging about a win than a vampire planning world domination or something else out of Little Shop of Horrors. But until Crosstooth has his chance to prove his worth, Dracula has one last opportunity at improving or losing his lead in this competition. It's likely that he'll use the same tactics as every other event. Mesmerize the fly with those beautiful colors and grab them once they're confused and hypnotized. This is just like episode 9. He's playing with his food again. And just like last time, he's showing off by only holding onto his catch with his little daggers. Oh wait, it's moving. The fly's pulling its way out. This cannot be real. This is the biggest mistake Dracula has ever made. This has opened the doors for B52 to creep up another spot on the leaderboard and challenge our longtime leader, Crosstooth. If it weren't for that miss, Dracula would have been the one to challenge Crosstooth for that prize. Every single one of his catches has been perfect up until now. Was he nervous? Nah, that's not possible for someone like him. Maybe he was celebrating too soon, but that doesn't make sense either. Either way, this does give Crosstooth the opportunity of a lifetime. He absolutely cannot mess this up if he wants that blood. And seeing as he hasn't appeared since episode 5, he has had 6 months of rest to prepare for this exact moment. Keep in mind that over the past 6 months, his score has been so good that he has barely left the top spots on the leaderboard, even as new competitors joined the competition. And honestly, he hasn't stopped bragging about it either. He's even gone out and got himself a brand new pot, divided another 3 times, and grown so much bigger in preparation for today that it would be hilarious to see him miss. Let's not jinx him. He could mess up just as bad as Dracula here, especially as he's trying to catch the rarest bug in the competition. And this one is so damn small, it could easily fit in between the gaps in his teeth and just walk out. Oh, that's insane! This fly isn't reacting! It's like it's been hypnotized or something. It's literally not moving at all. It doesn't even want his nectar. Why isn't it trying to escape? This doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't this fly try to escape? Is he stupid enough to get bribed or something? Nah, I mean, they're bugs and plants, so that's not really possible. Is it? Regardless, it's time to see where Crosstooth sits on the leaderboard and give the winner their drop of blood. If you had told me 1 year ago that a spoiled brat, the Flytrap with tiny traps and huge gaps in his teeth, would end up being the most dominant Flytrap in this competition and become the first ever winner in the Flytrap games with bonus credit time, I would have been confused because bonus points weren't set up back then. But I honestly didn't think that our winner would be Crosstooth. So it's time to give him the prize of a lifetime. Blood. Now there are a few things that we have to watch out for. Seeing as blood is so full of nutrition, Crosstooth over here is either going to grow really well or he'll end up dying because there's too much nutrition for him. But don't worry guys, he'll probably end up growing really well and he probably won't stop bragging about it with everyone else in the greenhouse. Obviously guys, don't do this at home, but you should know that this doesn't hurt if you've ever tested your blood sugar levels before. Okay. Wait. Yeah, it doesn't hurt, guys. Don't worry, it doesn't hurt.
Life is not love.
All Venus flytraps have trigger hairs inside of their traps which need to be touched before the plant will close or start digesting their food. I'm going to have to stand here for a little bit and make sure that Crosstooth here is actually digesting my blood. Now, seeing as no one has ever done something like this before, feeding every single trap that they can feed on a Venus flytrap, and then recording how it actually grows after a few weeks, this might be a breakthrough. We might figure out something really interesting about these plants. So all we have to do now is wait and deal with Crosstooth bragging about how well he's done and how good the blood tastes here in the greenhouse with all the other cultivars and them too. And bragging is what he didn't do. After 2 weeks of letting him digest his food, he did one of the strangest things a flytrap could do in spring. He stopped growing. All of the traps that had some blood started to turn a little bit black. Now this is totally normal for old traps or traps that have a really big meal. But aside from him growing new traps very slowly, any of the developing traps that just touched a drop of blood completely stopped growing. But the weirdest parts of how he reacted to this blood happened about a month later. At this point, almost all of the traps that have eaten the blood have started to go black. And don't worry, I will open one up to see what it looks like inside. Like I said, this is normal, but what is not normal is that when he started growing new traps again, they were worse than before. They're smaller and they no longer have crossed teeth, but for some reason, the traps that grew after these small ones are much bigger than the ones from before the experiment, and they have now got their normal crossed teeth and weird stems again. Some people say that overfeeding Venus flytraps can cause them to stop growing or to slow down, but honestly, I'm not too sure about this. They catch so much food naturally that it's hard to believe that they can be overfed. Yet I can believe that the blood could have been slightly toxic, or maybe it took the plants a lot of energy to actually digest the blood, making it slow down, and when it finally did eat the blood, it had so much more energy than before that it could grow like crazy. But I think the weirdest parts of it all is what the blood looks like after it has been digested. There is absolutely nothing left except for this dark dust. Now, what is really interesting to me is that this dust could be the iron in my blood, as it does smell metallic. But without testing it, it's just a guess. I know the plants never make a smell when they digest their food, so it isn't that either. It's most likely just a mix of the leftover parts of whatever you find in your blood. But what if there was a carnivorous plant that could eat hundreds of bugs all at once? Well, we actually found the world's biggest carnivorous plant, and that video is on screen for you to watch right now. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoyed the series, and maybe comment who your favorite competitor was. I'll see you in the next video.